I could really serenade you guys on this thing. All right. Officer Modic, would you please raise your right hand? And Draco, would you please raise your right paw? And repeat after me. I, Officer Modic and Canine Draco, do hereby solemnly swear that we will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution and statutes of the State of Ohio, and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Streetsboro, and that we will perform the duties of police officers, I guess it should be, for the City of Streetsboro's Police Department, to which we have been appointed to the best of our ability, so help us God. Way to go. All right.
Okay, I'd like to call this public hearing agenda of Monday, January 26, 2026 to order. Mr. Mayor, could you lead us in the pledge, and Mr. Mishniak, the invocation, please?
If you would, please bow your heads. Dear Lord, grant us your guidance, wisdom, and the ability to listen to each other and take all perspectives into consideration so that we may place ourselves in a position to make wise decisions, and guide us as we go through this process in our new building and we start this new path forward on tonight's first official council meeting in our new building. We all thank you for this opportunity and for the blessings you have granted this city over the years that have made this night and many nights in the future possible. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Mishniak and Mayor. Item 3 is roll call.
Ms. Wagner? Here. Mr. Lampa?
Here.
Ms. Flynn?
Here.
Mr. Ring?
Here.
Mr. Mishniak?
Here.
Mr. Hannon?
Here.
Mr. Lombardo?
Here. Item 4, T7932, repeal and replace Chapter 1193, re-erosion and sediment control, and T7933, repeal and replace Chapter 1195, comprehensive stormwater management. Is there any discussion or any comments from anybody on these two items? Council, anything to add?
There's
Okay.
no discussion. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
First and a second to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned from the public hearing.
I'd like to call this Finance Committee meeting of Monday, January 26, 2026 to order. Caroline, please call roll.
Ms. Wagner? Here. Mr. Lampa?
Here.
Ms. Glenn?
Here.
Mr. Ring?
Here.
Mr. Mishniak?
Here.
Mr. Hannon?
Here.
Mr. Lombardo?
Here.
Item 3, disposition of minutes. We have a special Finance Committee meeting of January 12th, 2026.
Motion to accept as written?
Second.
First and second to accept as written. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, they are accepted. Item 4, monthly financial report. Includes the monthly report, the credit card review, and the purchase order balance rollover 2025-2026. Mr. Matt Miller. Turn your mic on.
Yep, it's not green.
Thank you. All right, mic is on. All right, so this is the monthly financial report for December, and usually every year we do the December. It just segues into the annual report for 2025. So I'll be giving some of the bigger numbers that the city experienced in 2025. But we'll just start off quickly with comparing our budget to actual for the general fund. Overall, in the year, we only spent 92.25% of our proposed budget. That's slightly lower than what we had spent in 2024. Overall, the city spent about 92% of their budget, and again, that's a little bit more overall, but one of the large drivers of that is the building we are sitting in. So a lot of large payments have gone out this year. In regards to revenues, the real story of the day, we, in the general fund, we're at about 119% of our budget. Overall, we were about 116%. So overall, having higher revenues and lower expenses, obviously that's going to drive up your fund balance. It's going to drive up your cash. So for the general fund for 2025, we had a net change in cash balance of $2.6 million. That's about a 20% increase in our general fund. We didn't really transfer anything out this year, and I'll get into some of the other drivers, but I wanted to take a brief moment to also look at some of the other funds we don't talk about as much. Anything that ends in an 01 is a significant fund. 201, 301, 401. So the 201 as well was up about $250,000, 11%, as well as the state highway and permissive. That is a really good sign because, you know, we have put a lot of money towards ODOT in 2025. And that's pretty significant to have those funds that we use for street construction and repair, as well as infrastructure projects, that those are still in a healthy net positive balance. Our general bond retirement is down slightly. That's because we started the debt service fund, or I should say the debt service for City Hall. So we were lower about 9%, but we'll be bringing, in the future, we'll be bringing you a 301 analysis with the inside millage and going over some different things that's coming in the future, like our judgment bond. It is callable in December of this year. So we're already making moves, getting ready for that, doing analysis so that we're ready, that we can save some interest. So the 301 fund is down, but we'll be bringing to council, we might be restructuring our inside millage to maximize making sure that we can pay off the judgment bond as well as maintain our debt service here. Capital improvement is down, obviously outlier being City Hall. And our water operating fund is up 25%. We netted about almost $1.1 million in the water operating fund. A large driver of that is, of course, getting accurate revenue from the meters. We knew this was coming, and it's good to see the numbers behind it. Our year-end PO totals were a little bit higher than last year. We were about 530. This year, about 630,000. and we'll get more into that in the rolling of the POs. But this is not an exorbitant hit to fund balance. So that 2.6, you could lower it extra 100,000 if you want to look over year comparison. Obviously, to kind of dive into that 2.6 million, why did the general fund go up? Income taxes would be the main story behind that number. Overall, our income tax collections in 2025 were just shy of 20 million. We were 19,757,000. In 2024, we were 18,130,000. So this was an increase of about 1.6. Okay, the general fund enjoyed about $1.3 million increase driven by that income tax collection. So those of you tracking at home, that's about 8% increase in income tax collections for our city. Diving into this deeper, myself and the new assistant finance director, we were going over the different things. I expected it more coming from withholding growth, but actually withholding growth just stayed steady, very steady at about 13 million. It only increased about 1/10 of 1%. So even residential was had a higher growth at 100,000, but the real story this year was net profit. And diving deeper into just the RETA alone, we were up 1.4 million. Total collections and net profit this year were 3.7 with RETA as opposed to 2.3. So we saw a pretty significant payment in December, but our bread and butter is withholding. We want a lot of employment in the city of Streetsboro. So hey, staying steady is a positive thing, at the end of the day. And, just kind of looking at it from just a macro standpoint, you got to understand what our CEOs and CFOs dealt with this year. Hey, it was tariffs. They didn't know. We have a lot of manufacturing here, and those tariffs on April 2nd was quite a shock. And so, which of course affected profit margins. And so, granted, they weren't hopefully not laying people off, but they also weren't hiring and giving large raises. So that kind of driven, this is part of my theory on why we didn't see much in withholding. And Streetsboro doesn't operate in a vacuum. We're just as opposed to macro forces as others, and we had higher interest rates for a little bit longer in the country, as well as more automation. And so happy to see the numbers kind of stay consistent, but the main driver for income tax this year was net profit. Going a little bit deeper into our top, we like to monitor our top withholders in the city. So we kind of look at our top 100, top 50, top 10. Our top 10 companies here in Streetsboro account for about 3.2, 3.3 million. That's actually 25% of all withholding in Streetsboro comes from those top 10. Zooming out a little bit, the top 50 companies account for about 61% in our total withholding collections. And this is actually up a little bit from 2024. They were accounted for about 60%. So our large companies, backbone of our withholding is our bread and butter in the city. And so that was a good sign to see, just in regards to looking at those top 50 employers. Moving on real quick to interest income, another great driver, especially for the general fund of that 2.6. In December, the city overall collected just shy of 87,000. Total interest collected in 2025 was $1,054,000. So we hit the million mark again. We were just slightly lower under 2024 collections. We were about 90,000 more in 2024, but that elevated interest rate, just that macro factor that affects businesses getting capital loans, well, and we also benefit from it by our interest making passive income. So that was a great driver. The general fund of that $1,054,000 was increased $652,000 from that interest income. So that is a very significant driver when it comes to the increase in the general fund in 2025. And I'll round out this conversation, of course, with the general fund carryover balance. This is probably the biggest number you'll hear all year, but throughout the year, we're constantly monitoring, making sure that we save 25% of our expenditures. Our expenditures, in regards to that 25% going into 2026 is about 5 million. So that could be kind of elevated, but we will operate around 20 million in the general fund. So at the end of the year, our actual, as of 12/31, general fund carryover percentage was 61.58%. That equates to 7.3 million over our 25% required savings plan. And jumping forward, already starting with the 2026 budget, we're looking to end the year 12/31/2026 with about 5.3 million with the current budget. If everything we budgeted happened in expenses and revenues, I could confidently say December next year we'll be at 5.3, above the 25%. Obviously, we're going to be bringing budget adjustments throughout the year, and revenues and expenditures will change, but that is probably the biggest number you're going to hear for 2025 is what is over that 25% threshold. So the city is in a healthy state. Calms my nerves as finance director, but it definitely driven partly by like what I said, income tax for net profit as well as interest income. And we also have, sprinkled amongst that is savings and expenses. That also affects the needle going. And any questions on not only just December, but just for the year 2025?
Mr. Mishniak.
Thank you, Mr. Miller, for that report. I just had some questions on, you mentioned, withholding being our bread and butter, on that general concept of, staying steady versus gaining or losing, and then you mentioned automation. I'm thinking, are we trying to adjust for, or what are some things maybe we can do with regards to our city, and not just the general market conditions, but AI, automation? A real simple thing we all can relate to is the self-checkout machines. I'm doing research on the internet, cities are slamming stores, bigger cities, slamming stores with the self-checkout, saying, hey, we're losing money. Withholding, it's our bread and butter, right?
Sure.
Maybe it's not a one-for-one, but when I walk into CVS and I see a self-checkout, I don't use it because I'm like, it's putting somebody out of work. At least that's what I envision. What are we doing as a city to think about as automation and AI come in, taking a simple example of a cash register, self-checkout, to make sure that the money that we thought we'd be getting from those jobs through withholding, our bread and butter, is balanced out. When a business comes in and says, hey, I'm going to hire 10 people to run registers, and now they have 2 people, I see we're losing, the RETA tax on 8 people, and there's no penalty. And I see other cities are literally charging like $5,000 a self-checkout for the year and adding a tax per transaction. As a way to, I think they're trying to deter the use of them, but they're also trying to recoup lost revenue on a withholdings loss. What are we doing as a city to prepare for that, and have we thought about it yet?
Well, 2 parts to that. First, it's kind of comical. We could tax the robots, but we can't. I've never quite seen that legislation before, but the second side of that is, and unfortunately I can't share, those companies. You wouldn't have to think too hard to think of our largest, but it's manufacturing is what really drives, the large companies. I doubt Walgreens is even in the top 200 on my, analysis with what I download from RETA. So I think part of that is definitely appealing to large companies coming here, being business friendly, I guess would be one of the tactics I would want to use. I mean, whether there's, income tax agreements or property tax abatements, things like that, because as a city, and I try and explain this to my wife, we can't just close our doors and sell the company and say, we're done, we're a city. We have to think very long term in regards to our decisions. And so for me, what I see in the data is it's large manufacturing that really is what drives. Now, granted, there's some large retail, just drive down State Route 14, that helps drive that withholding number. But for me, it's being business friendly would be one of the first approaches I would definitely take.
Yeah. Do we lose, just for educating the public, do we lose money? Envision, I don't know, these bots that Elon Musk says he's going to have out soon. They're going to be able to, put 1,000 of them on Mars and they'll build his whatever. I can't see it. Maybe your lifetime, maybe not my lifetime, but yours for sure, that these large manufacturing plants aren't going to say, hey, I don't have to hire Mishniak and Hannon to work here. I can just get 2 of Elon's bots to do it 24/7. I don't even need shifts. How do we can't tax a bot. It has no income. What do we do in a situation where these large manufacturings go 100% automated robots to make up for that loss? And because I think it's coming faster than most of us are thinking, and I'd rather be proactive than reactive and say, hey, this statute was in place that said for every human you lay off that we can show, you're going to pay us X, or for every bot you use, you're going to pay us X. Like, we got to start thinking about that, because trying to catch up to it's going to be a problem. And I'm not expecting an answer out of you. I'd like to see you guys and the mayor form a committee with economic development that says, hey, this is how the city can make money in an automated manufacturing robot world. We got to start thinking about that, because if we don't, we're going to be way behind.
You also might, granted, I'm not going to get into, tax depreciation and all those type of items, but, they're going to be more efficient, which is going to increase net profit. And so you might, I've never seen it in a city where you have a different withholding amount versus a net profit tax amount, where you could segregate the two and have two different rates. That's a possibility, but yeah, that's something definitely we can look into. Start brainstorming. Patrick, if you have any ideas on
I'm not
this.
looking for an answer tonight. I just want us to start, maybe form a committee, you guys, and get it rolling, where we'll still be attractive to business, but we won't be suckers that they're using us and we're not getting any withholding, right? There goes our bread and butter, and we're left with soup. And I don't want to find ourselves there, and then it looks retaliatory later versus trying to have the statutes in place before and maybe they won't think to do that stuff. I don't know.
One thing I'll interject here real quick. Just let's just take gas tax for example. All those people who bought a Tesla, well, they're not paying the gas tax. Well, now when they go get their, motor vehicle license, they got to pay a very large amount to get their license. And so there's going to be reactionary things like that. Just not saying you can carbon copy that type of approach, but there's going to be opportunities will present itself to be able to tax automation. But I have not seen anything as of yet.
I think that his point was, we don't want to be reactive. We want to be proactive. So we don't want it to come and then go, oops, how do we fix it? We want to fix it before it comes. Because I agree. I think we don't realize that within the manufacturing world, the technology and the AI is progressing at speed light. And eventually our biggest companies are going to go automated, maybe not fully, but substantially. So if we can get ahead of it, like he's saying, and get some ideas out there, and maybe get some statutes on the books that address it prior to it happening, we don't have to react and play catch up. We're already in front of it. And I think that's just, and like he said, I don't think we want answers tomorrow, but maybe let's start working on it and maybe brainstorm for a while, and maybe in the next year or two we can
do a workshop, get some ideas out.
Yeah, I'd love to be a part of a workshop. I've been just fiddling around looking at statutes, and that's when other cities, that's when I saw they were hammering these self-checkouts, which I just have a personal, I don't work here, you didn't train me. They're constantly coming to us wanting to prosecute little old ladies that don't scan 2 items. It's ridiculous, I think. And if I was king of Streetsboro like he is, I would just pass an ordinance that says, hey, it's $5,000 a year for every self-checkout machine, and 1% transaction fee comes straight to the city. And that's to replace all of the laid off kids and part-time workers that would have been running those cash registers. I was glad to see Walmart went back to that, and I think that came as a result. My own opinion, I don't have any knowledge of this. My own opinion was they were just getting beat on theft, just beat over the heads on theft. And so they went back to cashiers because they saw it was better for their bottom line if they had people to deter the thefts. But I would like us to, if I could put a $5,000 tax per year on CVS's checkout and Giant Eagle self-checkouts and all that, I would. And I'm just thinking, Elon Musk 50 bot factory, how do we make money on that? And I want to look at, him and say, I don't want to put statutes that are going to run people off either. I just, we all got a win-win.
True.
But we can't just allow our bread and butter to go away and not know what we're going to do to replace that revenue. I want to be business friendly, but I don't want us to be suckers, I guess is what I'm saying.
True.
We could go on all night, but if we could get some sort of committee or workshop just to bounce ideas down in the future, that'd be great. That's all I have on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ring. I just want to add one thing. That's a good point that Mr. Mishniak brings up. And I have heard that some cities, and this will be a law department thing more than anything, but some cities I heard are actually putting into the contracts with these companies that come in that could be, that could have robots that say, hey, you have to employ so many employees up to X amount in the contract. So I don't know how much that holds, but I do know that that's been started for a couple places.
Wouldn't that only work if we had some kind of tax incentive? Because we can't, a company that comes in, we can't just go, you have to employ this many people unless we're giving them a tax abatement or something. And we
Yeah, there was a tax abatement. I'm just saying that it's part, it's a good idea, that something else to explore too.
Mr. Malia, did you have anything? I know you had your hand up, but
Briefly, the field that you guys should be most worried about is not manufacturing, it's warehousing. Warehousing is where you'll see it first. It won't be manufacturing first. That's the second domino to fall.
You've kind of always taught me that warehousing is kind of a dud for us anyways.
Yeah.
Right?
It is. We have lots and lots and lots of space.
But it could get worse is what you're saying.
It almost certainly will. Amazon, or one of the big tech firms, has actually created a robot because one of the big challenges in warehousing is that robots typically don't have the sensory feel where they say, like, just pretend this is glass and crush it. And John's metal here, they don't have the sensory, but they've created a robot that actually is able to kind of make a determination between, like, this is an eggshell and this is a glass and this is metal or whatever. So those are common. And then you can have unlimited racking. You can just go all the way up. You don't have to worry about, somebody falling off a ladder or something. Warehousing is where that's going to happen first. I understand your concern, but there is another side to that coin as well. If you are going to invest millions of dollars into this kind of robotics, you also want to hire very highly trained and skilled people to keep them running all of the time. So what we've seen a lot, at least in the academic literature, is that they will say, all right, we've lost 10 jobs, and their payroll was, for nice simple numbers, $100. But we've hired 2 people, and their payroll is $120 because they're doing higher skilled, higher demand tasks. So right now, Mike's job didn't exist 60 years ago. There wasn't a computer, but everybody always was assuming that ATMs were going to drive tellers out of business. A hell of a lot less of them, but they're still here, right? But I don't know what those guys who maintain those ATMs get paid. But that's kind of the analogy I can come up with off the top of my head. But there will be trade-offs. There always are. But there's also the possibility of new things to happen as well. So it's not necessarily just doom and gloom, although I think that we should prepare for that and have a contingency plan. There will be an alternate bright side to it as well. How Streetsboro specifically shapes out on that is yet to be determined.
Yeah, that's the stuff I want us to start thinking about is how does Streetsboro fit into that future? Bottom line money. How much money do we lose? How much do we make? What can we do statute-wise to make sure we stay out front and keep making that income and make up for the lost jobs that we used to tax?
I think about this a lot.
Yeah, I
They're in
figured
good
you
company.
would. I thought, Mr. Miller probably sees it in some of the, literature of whatever professional organizations you subscribe to. But I'd really like to see us have an ongoing committee or workshop that says, hey, that's a great idea for the city. Run it by the mayor, see what he thinks, and, make sure we keep our pocketbook filled. We don't find ourselves one day with a report that says we're down 20%, mostly because of automation we weren't thinking about, that we could have done X, Y, or Z, and we missed a whole year of something we could have presented, and that's could be a couple $1 million that we could have got out in front of. And I think it's more defensible for our law department too, if these statutes are already in place when these companies make their decisions. It's really hard for them to say, hey, you retaliated and came after me for this to breach of X, Y, and Z, or it's not fair. When we can say, no, that statute was in place when you made a business decision to go that route. You should have known that was going to cost you X, That's why I'd really like to see us get something in place ahead of time. It's about the money. I'm so concerned about anything else other than keeping things even keel, or if there's a way for us to even create more tax dollars, I'm all for it. Just start thinking about it. I didn't mean to open a whole new topic, but wanted to get everybody thinking about that. New building, new future. It's time to think about AI, I guess.
Allow
Mr. Lampa?
Thank you. Mr. Miller, thank you for the detailed report. And I just wanted to point out, can we remove the former Parks Director and add Ms. Edgar to that? The credit cards?
Oh, yeah, let me jump to the credit cards. This is the quarterly report for fourth quarter, and yeah, we can definitely make that change for Parks and Rec card. We're kind of migrating a lot towards the purchasing cards. I am closing the Home Depot credit line. It's easier for them to use the P card on my end, and so you're going to see a lot of crossed out lines. We are keeping the Lowe's credit line, of course, open, as well as Staple and Amazon. A lot of business has gone towards Amazon automation, but we are just simply closing the Home Depot cards. Nothing else has changed on the P-card credit lines. And then the third item was, this is just something that's just for discussion. The auditors have expressed their interest. They want us to just discuss it, even though it doesn't require council action. The way our system works is we have to roll those POs into 2026. So we go through multiple rounds with departments to see which POs can be closed, because a lot of times it's an ongoing project or they're waiting for their order to ship. So across all the funds, we rolled a total of 6.866 in PO balances to 2026. With that comes an automated entry from BSNA to give them budget. That way they don't eat their 2026 budget. So this is just a discussion item. Council's also gotten each and every PO that we rolled, and then that way I can give the minutes to the auditors, and they know that council has been informed. Any questions?
I think a majority of those rollovers are City Hall, right? Like a large chunk of it.
City Hall is a very large chunk of it. I can get that figure.
I just noticed they got 1.47 million out of the 401 for just that City Hall project, and then there's another, 168,000 for Kavanaugh as well for city center improvement. So I'm just seeing a lot of them have to do with this building. So that's just because we haven't finalized paying everything.
Yeah, we're paying 12 and 13 pay app this week, so that'll get lower.
Very good. Any other questions on that topic? Thank you, Mr. Miller, for your reports this evening. Item 5, old business. There are none. Item 6, new business. Annual Fair Housing Act presentation.
Actually, Mr. Peets called earlier today. The county offices were closed and they were not conducting business today, so we've rescheduled him to the next council meeting on February 9th.
Okay. So we will skip that line item. B, Motion to reschedule May finance and regular council meetings due to Memorial Day holiday. I see that the holiday's on the 25th. The only other day in May is the 18th, unless we schedule it like the 4th. But the 18th okay with everybody?
It's fine with me.
First and second to reschedule to May 18th. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that's rescheduled. Item C, T7935, cannabis use tax revenue allocation. Mr. Matt Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Ring. This is for the cannabis sales tax, which comes to be about 3.6% of all sales. It gets remitted to our city. Our city has two, is it dispensaries? Is that how you pronounce it? Yeah. And so the state's been holding on to that money, enjoying their interest income, and they finally released that earlier this month. And per the Auditor of State Bulletin, they have advised us that there needs to be a legislative body to denote where those funds should go. So I know we were going to have a discussion on this last council, but I'm just combining both under tonight's council, and I have created a general ledger account number to book it to. I did that so that council would have the option to amend it on the floor. That way I can get my end done with booking the revenue. We got in about $84,000. This comes to be about $10,000 a month we're believing that we'll have in cannabis sales. And this is giving our county local government tax a run for its money. We're making quite a bit on this. So that is discussion and passing an emergency, how council would like to utilize this cannabis. If you put it to the general fund, it gives you the most options to pivot. You can also put it towards capital. You can put it towards special revenue. You can even throw it towards Billy and put it in the water fund. I don't know how that would equate, but it's just up to council to make that determination, and then I'll take care of the accounting.
So that's the special. Do we get net profit for them too?
Yes, they're a business. Yeah, we would get a profit.
I had a question. Somebody at my day job asked me what my thoughts were on the difference between Ravenna and Streetsboro's income. I guess the Courier did an article on Ravenna, and it was 400 and some thousand, and Streetsboro was 100 and some. And I didn't know how to answer it. I'm like, I have no idea.
Part of that is the one in Ravenna opened a lot earlier than ours. You know, ours opened, I believe, it was April, and I think they were only like a month or two apart. I can't remember looking at we looked into getting when they got the permits, but ours didn't open up till last April. I mean, we just don't have as much collections as Ravenna. They opened a bit sooner.
Earlier, like January or something?
Oh no, like a year or two earlier, I believe. I can't remember the exact date, but my wife gave me the article. She says, "Look how much Ravenna made," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, look when they opened." And so I know my home city, they made around the same amount as Ravenna, and I was like, "Why are we getting?"
What city is that?
I live in Cuyahoga Falls. They made about 4. I think
That's
40.
a lot bigger than Ravenna and Streetsboro.
But we have 2.
2 in Cuyahoga Falls?
2 just no in Streetsboro. I don't know how many we have in Cuyahoga Falls. I don't visit them. So
You ought to try.
I would have no clue. But
Don't knock it till you try. No, we need your head on straight.
just speaking with one of my counterparts, he kind of gave me, and I'm like, why did you get so much? But
I got the wrong Miller, I'm asking, I guess. That's from personal experience. So can you guys just watch that and see? I always see, when I see a difference in cities, I think are similar with the amount of people that enjoy the use of cannabis recreationally, which I think Streetsboro and Ravenna would be. I think just the prosecutor in me goes, is there any fraud in the reporting going on, or what's going on? If there was such a difference as 400 to 100,000, but if there isn't a huge difference, there wouldn't be a need to, if we're extremely low as compared to Cuyahoga Falls, like I said, that's got to be double or triple our population. But Ravenna's not. It's probably less than Streetsboro, and probably the same amount of pot smokers. And if they're making 4 times the amount we are, I'd be nervous that there might be some fraud and reporting going on or something.
Well, they're not making 4 times. You have to annualize it, right? If they've been open for
Yeah.
3 years, that's 3 years of back, because this was the first
I
distribution.
don't know that it was reported that way. They reported it as an annual payout in the Courier, not that the Courier's always right.
This was the first distribution of that tax money, right?
Yeah, total. I mean, that's.
Yeah, so that's,
one
it goes back to when they
So they
opened.
backdated. Okay.
Yeah. So if you annualized
Yeah.
it, they're making, 130 or 140 a year, which we're thinking we're gonna be making 120.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, as long as we're close.
Mr. Mishniak, I can speak to the fraud element. These dispensaries are extraordinarily, extremely regulated. Every one of their orders is monitored by the Division of Cannabis Control. The state has camera links to them 24/7 that they can access whenever they want. So the chances of fraud I think, are extremely low in these type of businesses. These aren't the little vape shops that you see around. These are like
Yeah.
sophisticated.
Yeah, I just got concerned when I saw a 4-to-1 ratio and didn't know about the dating of it. Just keep our eye on it and make sure. I mean, where there's money, there's always somebody trying to beat the system. So, just how it is.
Mr. Mayor?
Don't forget too that these taxes that were charged, if that place did open, which they did open much sooner than we did, there was a smaller amount of cannabis. We don't get 36% of what these guys collect. It goes into a pot and then it becomes part of the whole thing. So if there was only, just using raw numbers.
Wait, run that by me again. I truly don't know.
We don't get the 36% of what our people sell here.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Okay.
I thought it was what was sold in your city.
Oh,
To my understanding.
no, I was not understanding it either then.
Yeah, I did not know that at all. I
didn't
thought
know
you got
that. Is it?
33% of what was sold in your political jurisdiction.
I think it is.
Okay.
It's just they were open for years longer than, a few years longer.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if they were open for 3.5 years and we were open for 8 months, the difference is there, right there, so.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I didn't know. I same as you, Mayor. I don't really follow the
You know, and
collection
then
aspect of it and the disbursement till I saw the article, and I'm like, wait a second.
Too, another thing that I think this happened like 2 weeks ago that DeWine cracked down on was just even gas stations were selling a form of it. And there's been a huge crackdown on that because they want those funds to funnel through the dispensaries and not just be able to pick up when you're checking out, getting gas. And so there's going to be even more concentration straight to the dispensaries where other businesses aren't going to be able to sell. I don't even know how to describe it, knockoff marijuana.
I can speak to that a little bit. Yeah, the new bill passed by DeWine was specifically targeting these vape stores. They sell alternative THC products that are like THC Delta 8 rather than the Delta 9. These are unregulated products. These are not subject to the Division of Cannabis Control. So these businesses are selling these products, drinks, vapes, all sorts of things. And it's kind of like when we used to have the internet cafes and we legitimized the casinos, and we went after the internet cafes.
Yeah, it's a good
You
analogy.
remember that. This is a very similar situation that we're going through too. And they're also punishing, well, now they've made illegal, I don't know how they're going to enforce it, but the purchase and transportation from Michigan to Ohio. So the design with that is to increase legitimate Ohio recreational cannabis sales.
That's because everyone that gets pulled over says, I bought it in Michigan. They thought that
Well,
was
it's a lot cheaper up there. That's why people go up there. It's about half the price as it is here. So.
Prior to our statute passing, they just,
I'm wondering if that statute's going to stand the Supreme Court challenge of free
They changed it.
commerce, so.
the new statute changed the home grow numbers at all, or to leave them the same?
I don't think that they touched,
I
I
don't know.
may be mistaken on the homegrown, but to Justin's comment, I don't know. I don't know the answer because if it's like this, if you're an individual and you buy a pack of cigarettes or a beer in a different state, you're not really going to be prosecuted for it. But if you're a business that's going there and buying a bunch of it.
That's different, yeah, yeah.
They'll go after you for that. So.
All right, well, you have a 101 fund, right? Is that where we're looking to put it?
That is correct.
I prefer it in the general fund only because, like you said, we have flexibility to move it out. if it's outside of the general fund, we don't have flexibility to move it back in. So if we want to use it for things like funding dispatchers or police officers or firefighters, it's got to be in the 101. So I think but if we want to use it for something else, maybe a capital project, we always have the opportunity to move it out into a capital project. So I would prefer it in the 101. Anybody else have any differing thoughts than that, Mr. Lombardo?
I agree. I'd like to see it in the 101.
It's the most flexible, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for most flexible till we collectively decide where we want to spend it.
Yep, Mr.
I
Hannon.
just wondered, I looked up the article we were referencing.
Your mic's not on.
Green light.
I'm new here, sorry. The marijuana dispensary in Ravenna opened in 2023 as a medical marijuana dispensary, and in 2024 they included adult use cannabis. So their $400,000+ payment you guys are referencing, it says it referred to 16 months of tax collection. So there might be, they might just be busier, or is one of the only ones in the area for a year or so.
Aren't there two in Ravenna? Pretty sure there's at least
The last
two.
person you
I'm pretty sure there's at least two in Ravenna.
Yeah, it only references one dispensary on the article. Super Good Cannabis or whatever dispensary in.
Yeah, there's one, right down there, just down the road from the hospital and the high school, towards the courthouse. It's right down there, right at the railroad tracks, and the hike and bike path. That Super Good's right there. I don't know if there's two. I thought there was two. But
I'm pretty sure there are. Not that I've been. All right, so this already has the 101 on it. If there's no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
So moved.
So move, yeah.
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that's moved. Item D, T7936, amend ordinance number 2025-187, Community Center LED roof light. Mr. Matt Miller.
This is just a quick change on my end. We needed to change it to the building GL code. I don't know how that other GL got in there from December, but it's just a simple change.
Second.
First and second to move this to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that is moved. Great. Item E, T7937, amend ordinance 2025-117, Hastings exhaust system. Chief Reinholz.
Thank you. Last year we put in the rails and all the hoses for the exhaust, for all the apparatus, and I budgeted for this year, 2026, to actually put in the electronics and the wiring. So it's to amend the original ordinance in 2025 not to exceed the $15,000. And you see the quote's $14,911. And I have it budgeted in the 402 account, looking for approval.
Any discussion?
There's no further discussion. I'll make a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
Second.
First and second to move this to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that is moved. And item F, T7938, authorized annual contract with Signal Service. Mr. Bill Miller.
This is our yearly contract with Signal Service for traffic and street light. They do all our traffic light repairs, and they also assist when we can't fix our own street lights, or we replace street lights. They do them. We've had them for years. They do a good job. The price pretty much hasn't changed in years.
Any discussion?
There's no further discussion. I'll make a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
Second.
First and second to move this to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that is moved. Right. Item G, T7939, agreement with Safe Build Ohio for CBO, backup inspection services, and backup commercial plan review services. Who wants to speak on this? Mr. Mayor.
Item G and H are substantially related. It's with two different companies. Back in October, November, I wanted to make a change in the building department as far as who we provide for our plan review and for our chief building official. So we reached out to a couple of companies, and the first one that we that we want to talk about is the Safe Built. And Safe Built is we want to have them as our chief building official and as our, I'm going to need an amendment on this too, but it says backup inspector and commercial plan review. We have John Cheatham here from Safe Built. If you have any questions, you can speak to him. I would like, while he's moseying up there, in the preamble, I would like to add the words provide primary and backup inspection. One of my inspectors is probably going to retire relatively soon, and I don't want to skip a beat with inspections. And so in order not to have to come back to you guys to change the word to primary, I'd like to have that added in the preamble, and also in section 1 on the second line, it says provide, add the word primary and backup inspection. And Safe Built gave us very good, more than competitive prices for the 3 items that we want to contract with them. And John Cheatham is here to answer any questions that you folks may have.
Does anybody have any questions? I thank you for coming to the meeting and sitting through everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to make the amendments that the mayor referred to include
Primary and backup.
John, your mic isn't on. Your mic is not on.
Sorry. I will make a motion to amend this to include primary inspections. It already says backup
Primary
inspection.
and-
What already says it in there?
Yeah, you just need to add the words primary.
Primary and in both the top portion and section 1.
Section 1.
I have a first and second to amend the ordinance as stated. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that is amended.
So,
I'll make a motion to move this to tonight's full council meeting.
second.
First and second to move this to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that is moved. All right, moving on to item H, T7940, agreement with Sixmo Architecture for commercial plan review and backup chief building official. Mr. Mayor?
Okay, Patrick is part of Sixmo Architecture, and they were the second part of your equation. One that I was particularly pleased with is that in the past, we have had issues with our plan reviewers that they said, we got 30 days to turn these around. And we, when you send a plan in, I do other cities too, and it goes to the bottom of the pile. When I get to it, I get to it. And I was very pleased that when Sixmo spoke with us, they're promising a less than 14-day turnaround. And if we do have a priority project or we need something looked at, they have the ability, they have multiple plans examiners there. They have the ability to get these things done a lot quicker for us. And that has been a bone of contention with a lot of our manufacturers, was the amount of time that we have had to wait to get things back and to get feedback on it. So I would like to have Sixmo as our commercial plan reviewer and backup chief building official. If something should happen with Safe Built, Sixmo would be able to provide backup chief building official stuff for us too.
So Safe Built's going to be our primary chief building official.
Correct.
And Sixmo is going to be our backup.
Correct.
That Sixmo is going to be our primary plan reviewer, and Safe Built's going to be our backup?
Backup, exactly.
Any changes to this ordinance?
Nope, we're good.
Any Questions?
I just had a question. There's structure 1, structure 2, and structure 3 fees laid out. Structure 1 circle. Is there any significance to that?
Yeah, it was in structure 1.
Does it mean we're going with structure 1?
Yes.
Okay.
We,
Structure 2 and 3 is just an option? Okay. That's all I had. I was just wondering what the circle was.
We talked it over with the building department,
Okay.
and we found that that was probably the best fit for us.
Works. Thank you.
Mr. Hannon?
I just had a quick question about the turnaround time. What happens if they don't turn it around in that? Like, is there recoupment of that? Okay. Well, that's good to hear. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Our relationship with these guys is not unique. This is something that is, a lot of the communities in Northeast Ohio have gone to having two different folks. Both of them came very highly recommended for us in the tandem that we put together. And I think this is going to be much better for us than what we've had in the past.
Any other questions or comments?
There's no further discussion. I'll make a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
Second.
First and second to move this to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that is moved. Thank you both, gentlemen, for coming tonight. All right, moving on to item I, T7934, amend 2026 annual appropriations number 2. Mr. Matt Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Ring. This is just probably a small budget adjustment, but we're reestablishing some of our items from 2025, and in particular the tech credit grant, as well as the CHIP private rehab funds out of the 211 fund, as well as possible land purchase out of the 401 fund.
Ooh, what land are we purchasing?
I will let Mr. The Economic Development Director.
Was it on Frost Road?
Was a secret.
It was on Frost Road, is that not the one?
Yes, ma'am, that is
Is-
correct. There is a possibility due to traffic stresses, which I will let engineering deal with because I don't understand it. But when Layer Zero was making their expansion, there was a talk like, well, maybe we need to put in roundabouts at Frost and Phillip. I was like, well, that's not going to happen. You ever try and see a semi take a turn? It was a really bad idea. So another possibility is looking at us, Brian, correct me if I'm using the term incorrectly, but basically reorienting the off-ramp for 480, is that right? Close enough. Anyway you look at that, that's going to require land. The land that's right next to that is for sale. So it would be a good CYA move, and if it turns out we never use it, throw up some flags in there and make the gateway to the gateway look nicer.
Do it for the kids.
Yeah, that'd be a terrible place for a playground, but yes.
Oh, Miss Ecker can make it work.
Isn't that St. Jude's property now or something?
We did have an opportunity to get it. Our previous law department put in far too many hoops for them to jump through, so they just donated to St. Jude.
Any further discussion on the budget amendment?
I have a question.
Ms. Glenn?
Thank you, Mr. Ring. Mr. Matt Miller, I was just wondering what the Cobra health insurance adjustment was for.
So that just in regards to, didn't make it in the 2026 original budget, and so that is just employees who can,
So that money's coming from like former employees that are on Cobra?
yeah,
It's
so
just
we
like-
gotta funnel the money through
Okay.
so that we can pay our medical provider.
Thank you.
Any further discussion?
If there's no further discussion, I'll make a motion to move this to full council.
Second.
First and second to move this to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it is moved. Item J, I'll entertain a motion to recess into executive session to consider economic development project.
So moved.
Second.
First and second, Caroline, please call roll.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Hannan?
Yes.
Mr. Lampa?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner? Yes. Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Mr. Ring?
Yes, we're in executive session.
Where do we go?
I don't even know where the room is.
Right across.
Right behind us.
reconvene. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are reconvened. Item 7, citizens' comments. Any? Okay. Please state your name and address for the record.
Mike, or Matt, is his mic working out in the center there?
Doesn't sound like it.
How's that?
Yep.
There you go.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tech savvy. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I wasn't intending to speak at the end of this meeting, but the discussion that came up earlier about AI was intriguing, so I figured I would come up and talk to you a little bit about that or ask some questions. I had a conversation with Mr. Chiskowski while you guys were in executive session. I thought it was very interesting. The conversation was being had about kind of future-proofing the city, trying to figure out a way to get in front of AI, and I hope that you guys will consider thinking about, instead of being worried about AI and what it's going to do and taking jobs and those kind of things, but trying to be forward-thinking in how to utilize it, how to take advantage of it from the city standpoint, not being concerned about just trying to acquire more tax dollars by applying more charges or fees or extra things to businesses to de-incentivize businesses from coming to the city, but trying to find a way as the city itself to utilize AI services, AI products to improve the services that the city can provide and find a way to attract businesses that will utilize those things as well. So I just thought it was an interesting conversation. I didn't know that was going to go there when the meeting started, so I just figured I'd come up and kind of throw that out there, but I appreciate
Those
it.
are great points. Very good points.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Any others? Okay, seeing none. Announcements. Regular council meeting will immediately follow this meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
First and second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned.
Hang on. Okay.
I'd call this regular council meeting Monday, January 26, 2026 to order. Caroline, would you please call roll?
Ms. Wagner? Here. Mr. Lampa?
Here.
Ms. Glenn?
Here.
Mr. Ring?
Here.
Mr. Mishniak?
Here.
Mr. Hannon?
Here.
Mr. Lombardo?
Here. Item 3, disposition of minutes, regular council meeting of January 12, 2026.
Motion to accept as written?
Second.
Motion and a second to accept the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, those have been accepted. 4, citizens' comments.
Ted Hurd, excuse me, Ted Hurd, 769 David Drive, Streetsboro. Mr. Mayor, council members, department heads, I'd just like to thank you for providing me this time. I just wanted to stand here and say before all of you what a happy and proud citizen of Streetsboro I am today. Standing in this new building is just overwhelming. Watching Streetsboro grow has been quite a story. It started backwards. Streetsboro started as a bedroom community. We had no schools, we had no police, we had very limited volunteer fire department. We had no service department, we had no parks and recreation, we had nothing. We just started out. We had a lot of people, but no services to provide for them. Started out slow and tumultuous. Lots of councils and mayors have tried to move the city forward for many years. But they were all too worried about infighting and antagonizing each other and not putting their right foot forward and making the city work. They were unable to get along no matter what mayor or what council was there. It's gone so far as that I actually sat at a city council meeting and listened to a councilman call the mayor a liar and a cheat. I mean, it was terrible. And we went through that for years. Simplifying it over the years, we finally put the pieces of the puzzle together. You know, we bought property at the straight farm out there. We got a police station. We have a city park. Necessity brought us to the point in 1992 when the city and the schools finally got together and bought this property. And that's where my dream kind of started. I've always wanted the city hall right here in the center of our town, right on this property. I didn't know what it was going to look like, what the building was going to be, whether it was going to be reconstructed from the old Weiss School building and still part of it as the fire department. But we've endured and we've accomplished, and look where we are today. The dream started to focus when the city bought all this property. The real need, I think, was because we had to have a city hall, had to have a fire department. And along with the property here and the building being reconditioned into the fire department, some astute people thought, well, let's use it for a city hall for a while. That was fine for a while. But it quickly became apparent that we couldn't conduct business in a building that was built in 1948. And then the political football started. Are we going to reconstruct that building by renovating it? Or are we going to tear it down? Or what are we going to do? Well, this is what we did. There was lots of debate that went on. The football went back and forth. Political campaigns and different parties, wanted different things. But this is what we got through good thought process, good planning, and then finally our finances came into play where we could afford it. And here we are. It's not an opulent building. It's not garish, but it is our home. And it does create a part of Streetsboro that's now downtown. And with the Gateway Green behind us and the splash pad and the fire department there, we now do have a little bit of a nucleus of a downtown. And I'm awfully proud of that. And I'm proud of the councilmen that are seated now and our mayor that looked forward. And I also want to congratulate some of the former councilmen who were at the start of this process. And I'm glad that we finally got mayor, council, and our city fathers working together for the betterment of Streetsboro. And now what can we do? We've got our infrastructure. I mean, these buildings. We've got police, fire, and a city hall. So let's utilize it to the best of our ability. Thank you, thank you, thank you again for this wonderful achievement that you've made. And I'm sure I'm not the only proud person in this building, but I am one of the proudest citizens that we have right here, right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the kind words and for coming tonight. Any other comments? 5. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
This time. Brian Krupp, 9307 State Route 43. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council, and members of the administration. My name is Brian Krupp. I am the founder and CEO of Civic Consulting, LLC, and my wife Samantha and I also own and operate Crop Photography here in Streetsboro. Located just north of here in the commercial building on State Route 43, commonly known throughout the area as the Old McMichael Building. As you hold your first council meeting in this new city hall, I wanted to attend in person to formally introduce myself, to acknowledge this moment, and to say that we genuinely look forward to being your neighbor down here in the downtown district. The opening of a new municipal facility is not an everyday occurrence. It represents years of planning, public investment, and vision coming together into something. I've got a loud voice. It should be enough. A public building like this is more than a functional space. It becomes part of the identity of a city. It influences how residents experience their local government. Not simply for opening day, but for 10, 20, 30 years from now. Thank you so much, sir. Check, check. Okay, can you guys hear me? Is that on? Yes. Buildings like this deserve to be protected intentionally, so they remain assets rather than liabilities, and so future councils and future residents inherit something that reflects the same care and foresight that brought it into existence. I would also like to acknowledge several individuals and groups that we have worked with directly over the past few years. First, I want to recognize the council members we have communicated with through phone calls, emails, and other channels. Those interactions have been courteous, professional, and constructive, and they are appreciated. I would also like to recognize Mr. John Chaskowski for his professionalism and assistance in our interactions related to planning and zoning matters. When I've spoken with him, he has consistently been straightforward, knowledgeable, and helpful. I actually had a chance to speak with him while you guys were in executive session too, which was nice to put a name to faces. I think the mayor is probably one of the only people that I've actually spoken with and met face-to-face. In addition, I want to acknowledge the Streetsboro Fire Department and Police Department. In inspections, safety matters, and situations where we have needed assistance at our property when we were not physically present, both departments have been responsive and professional. As business and property owners, that reliability is meaningful. Before I close, I want to recognize something I believe the city is doing well, Mr. Mayor. Your use of public communication, particularly through social and digital channels, to keep residents informed about city projects, progress, priorities is invaluable. It provides transparency, builds public awareness, and allows people who may not attend meetings regularly to stay engaged. We appreciate that, and we encourage its continued use. That communication will be especially important as the upcoming roadway projects affecting State Routes 14, 303, and 43 move closer to implementation. As business owners operating directly on Route 43, we are very interested in understanding anticipated timelines, phasing, and how access, impacts, and expectations will be communicated to the downtown business community as plans develop. Early, consistent, and detailed updates make a meaningful difference for those who live, work, and invest along those corridors, and they help us prepare responsibly and guide our clients and customers effectively. If the council or administration is able to offer any insight this evening on the long-term facility planning or the anticipated roadway coordination, I would certainly welcome it, and I appreciate any response you may be willing to provide. I appreciate the opportunity to speak this evening. We wish you success with this new facility, and we hope it serves the residents of Streetsboro well for many decades to come. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for coming and your speech. Thank you. Anyone else? Any other citizens' comments before we move on? Okay. Item 5. Reports, communications from departments, boards, and commissions. Chief Reynolds.
Thank you, Mr. Lombardo. Talking about AI, we use AI in the fire department. We use it for the research. We have standard operating guidelines, so we'll write it. I've written, and I put it through AI, polish it up, and does it look so much better. You might see a difference sometimes when I submit to you requests, like tonight for this or that, approve. I'll type it up and put it through AI. It's like, wow, I look like I'm a PhD. Fire prevention uses it, go by certain standards if something comes across, and we double check it. So we're trying to implement it more than we did before because it saves us time. So we're believers in AI. As a matter of fact, we ran a fire scenario, 2,000 square foot house with a fire in its first floor, all these conditions, and we asked it, how would you fight the fire? And it came out with the right answer. The only difference is fires are dynamic and they're constantly changing. So you have to use experience in what you know, but all the right answers from all the textbooks and research came up with the right answer. But in our business, things go wrong. Things aren't always as you see, and that's what it requires the person to problem solve. So I just want to throw it in there. We like AI. I like AI, and we use it to the best of our abilities. We went to Aurora for a fire, and we're running a special program with Aurora. I mentioned before that we have self-dispatched automatic mutual aid. And what that means is when we get an alarm, my phone goes off, and it tells me through my active 911 what the nature of the call is. Dispatch sets it off, and we know where it's at. They announce it. So we get an immediate warning now. We start heading toward the apparatus. Then it comes across the radio by dispatch. Well, what we did with Aurora, if there's a fire like we had last Saturday, it came across, they have active 911. So they got the alarm, and we got the alarm the same time. And we were actually out the door 2 minutes faster en route to Aurora than if they went through the normal channels of their dispatch, calling for mutual aid, company A, B, C, D, E cities. So it worked really well. Dispatch worked well, implemented, and we were very excited with the automatic dispatch mutual aid. As a matter of fact, other communities are looking at trying to get into it, which is good. Other than that, we are training winter policies, draining the pump, keeping warm. We went to solar panels, studying them because we want to kind of look for nice sunny days as well. Practice knots, ropes, hoisting, and we're still doing SCBA. That's our breathing consumption drills. They put on all their turnout gear, about 60 pounds. Use tennis shoes instead of boots because we found out they got blisters. walk 7 miles an hour, 3 miles an hour at a 7-degree angle. And that's to see what kind of cardiovascular system they have. And it's more self-reflection. How well are you doing? Do you need to improve your cardiovascular? Do you need to lose some weight? And I think I mentioned Captain Novotny on a 45-minute cylinder got 58 minutes. Wow. So that's what we've been up to for the last 2 weeks.
All right, thank you, Chief Reinholds. Chief Wayne, anything from the police department?
Just a couple thank yous. Thank you for letting us get K9 Draco sworn in. Pretty excited to have him on board with the department. I look forward to a lot of our activity levels bumping up. We were really lucky to get Officer Modick from Canfield. He came here from being a sergeant out there. So that's quite a coup for us to get him here, and I think he's going to make a phenomenal pair with him. Also, Draco's going to be a little bit more of a public relations dog as well. We specifically wanted one that had the demeanor where if you want to go up and say hi, you can go up and say hi. He was pretty excited tonight. It's the first time he's been in a group outside of his training group. So large group of people, and I think he did really well. In spite of the fact he thought he was going to get to do something maybe a little bit more exciting. Also wanted to say thanks to the service department. In spite of all the chaos the weather brought, I believe we had 2 cars go off the side of the road yesterday. That speaks volumes to how much our service department accomplished over the weekend, because that was not the case for most cities. Also today, same thing. I got into town. Our roads were clear. Nobody else's were. So we appreciate it. It's a lot of work for them, but it saves us and the fire department a lot of work from having to go out and respond to all the crashes and cars and ditches. And finally, thanks to Sam for the inkless paw print. So we were able to get Draco to officially sign his swear-in with the paw. The ink pads that we have at the station are the actual official fingerprint stations, and I thought, this is really nice brand new carpet. We're not going to bring legit paw print stuff over here. So she was nice enough to provide that set for us. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Anything from technology department?
We're in this new building. Everything about this building is technology, and we had very, very little hiccups. It was a long weekend, but everyone came together, and I think we got moved. Everything went great. So just proud to be in this new building.
All right, thank you. Ms. Egger from Parks and Rec.
We have opened our applications for the electrical art box artwork. We're going to do another 5 this year, so it'll bring our total to 15 by the end of this season. So applications will stay open. They can submit them through March, and then we'll choose the 5. PERCAC will choose the 5. Our lighting is still on schedule, so we're looking at right around Valentine's Day. I believe the plan is to start with the community center, then do the restrooms, City Hall, and then the fire station, because that's going to take the longest. But that will be determined on when product comes in and the color and everything, because it's all matched the building and stuff. So that could change depending on when the product arrives. And then I got word that our skate park is scheduled for installation the week of April 6th. So looking forward to that. That's it.
All right, thank you. Mr. O'Malia, Economic Development.
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Chesnowski.
Thank you. I just wanted to let council know, as I had mentioned at the last meeting, we are making good progress with both the sign code update and the use list update projects. Wendy Moeller did present to the Planning Commission at their last meeting, and I'm expecting that a revised draft will be presented to the Planning Commission for their February meeting. I can't speak with absolute certainty that they'll be prepared to make a recommendation to council, but that is my hunch. So the sign code update should be ready to come to council in the next month or so. I also wanted to thank council and the mayor for this beautiful building. Ted is a proud resident, and I am a proud employee of the city. So
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Engineering.
So this afternoon, I had emailed sort of a longer engineer's report, and part of that I wanted to give council especially, so if, you get a call from a resident that you're informed of what's going on, and that's sort of what, I'm trying to do with these reports. So 'cause I've had in the past sometimes where council didn't know in other communities, so I'm really trying to make that so it's very, coherent that what's going on. And a couple of those are even, we have some county projects. One, actually is in Manawayne, Shalersville Township, but they're going to be going through Streetsboro as a detour. So, it's things like that. If you see, well, it seems like there's a lot more traffic. Well, it's because, they're using two of our roads as a detour, and it's a little 3-week project. But again, I did put quite a bit in here. Just with our county projects, potential turnpike project with bridge repairs on Page Road, as well as people have talked about the ODOT projects, which are going to be coming over, starting out in the next couple months with bid openings and, starting construction in March, depending on the weather. But, with that, along with our own projects, our road program, and we have our bid opening actually for the pavement marking program this Thursday. So, but again, council, if you ever have any questions, feel free to call or email me. But I did want to put together a list, just even like Chick-fil-A, where that stands, and actually it's ahead of schedule. With the landlord plans putting in the utilities, we had a pre-com with the tenant contractor. They're expecting to start March 1st. Again, weather dependent, but you'll start seeing March 1st actually, actually underground detention system get in. As soon as the asphalt plants open up, you're going to start seeing that in the building. And then speaking, actually, she was at the ribbon cutting. They're saying right now like a early September sort of ribbon cutting for Chick-fil-A. So that's what they're estimating right now, and possibly even sooner if it goes well. But again, I wanted to list just all the projects for 26 and what's going on. And one thing I know that John Wood and I are working on, we are in the process of having a company go and do road ratings. It's been 4 or 5 years since last time we've had pavement condition ratings throughout the whole city. So that way we can, once that should be done hopefully in the next month or two, and then really come up with our 5 to 10 year capital improvement plans, based on the actual data that we're receiving with that. So that's sort of everything that's been going on right now. And then also the Aurora Hudson water main project had started back up, but then stopped again due to the cold weather. But it should still probably hopefully get done by end of February, and then restoration by March or April. So that's all I have. If anyone has any questions.
Thank you. Mr. Lampa.
Thank you. Did you say you emailed us a report?
So I tried to use the list that Caroline, and if there's some people off of it, that's my fault.
Because I looked at my email, I don't see any report.
I didn't get one either.
And I'm curious to read it.
If you
Okay.
could send it out again.
Let me send it out again, because I tried to.
The best one to use is council@cityofstreetsboro.com. That goes to all 8 of us. So.
Okay, I used one that you had sent everything, so again, I'm still newer with some of
yeah.
this, so I'll make sure to add that, and I'll send that out to everyone. So that's, that way you can see it. So again, my fault, but I just got it out.
I mean, you spend all that time on it, I want to read it.
No, well, I want you to, because I did. But, part of that, though, is so everyone can be informed on updates and everything that's going on with it. And I even have links in here that you can tap on and look and see, fun stuff like when the project's going to be going up for sale and all that, especially with ODOT. So I included all that in the report, too, so you can check on it. But I'll make sure I'll get that out.
Thank you for that report. Mr. Bill Miller, anything to report from service? You okay on salt? Keep your fingers crossed? Keep fingers crossed?
We still got about 800 ton. We got about 80 ton delivered today, so they're bringing it slowly.
Okay.
So we're good to go.
Thank you. Mr. Matt Miller, Finance.
just echoing what Cough Dog and, Ted and John said, just excited it's a new chapter in this building.
All right. Saugcut Reese, anything from the Human Resources?
No, I have nothing.
And Law.
Nothing tonight, but just want to thank all those employees that really worked super hard to make this move as seamless and transitionless as possible. Thank you to Missy and Matt, especially for all your guys' help with me. Thank you.
Mr. Hannon?
Just wanted to let you guys know, Mr. Kaufman just emailed us or forwarded us that.
Yeah, I just got it.
Got it.
All right, thank you.
We're good. We're good. Thank you.
Take everybody this time? Okay. I skipped Law last time, so I want to make sure I got you this time.
Thank you, Mr. Lombardo, for
Welcome.
remembering.
Item 6, introduction of legislation containing statement of emergency. T7.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
I will make a motion to suspend the rules on T7934, T7935, T7936, T7937, T7938, T7939, T7940.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can we get a roll call, please?
Mr. Lampa?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner? Yes. Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes, to suspend the rules.
Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, rules are suspended. T7934, amend 2026 annual appropriations, number 2. Caroline, please read by title.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 2025-183, the 2026 annual appropriation ordinance number 2.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Motion to adopt and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lampa?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner? Yes. Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. T7934 passes and becomes ordinance number 2026-16. T7935, cannabis use tax revenue allocation. Caroline, please read by title.
An ordinance creating the cannabis use tax fund number 101-81-4290 within the financial records of the city of Streetsboro and declaring an emergency to immediately implement the fund.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt in a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Mr. Lampa?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner? Yes. Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. T7935 passes and becomes ordinance number 2026-17. T7936, amend ordinance number 2025-187, community center LED roof lights. Caroline, please read by title.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 2025-187, entering into a contract without competitive bidding with Trim Light of Northeast Ohio for community center lighting and declaring an emergency to expedite the purchase.
Motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt in a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lampa?
Yes.
Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner? Yes. Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. T7936 passes and becomes ordinance number 2026-18. T7937, amend ordinance number 2025-117, Hastings exhaust system. Caroline, please read by title.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 2025-117, authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract without competitive bidding with Hastings Air Energy Control, Inc. for the purchase of a diesel exhaust system for the fire station and declaring an emergency in order to conclude the work.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Motion to adopt in a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lampa?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner? Yes. Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. T7937 passes and becomes ordinance number 2026-19. T7938, authorized annual contract with Signal Service. Caroline, please read by title.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract without competitive bidding with Signal Service Company for the maintenance of traffic signals and streetlight repairs in the city and declaring an emergency in order to ensure timely access to services.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt in a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Lampa? Yes. Ms. Wagner? Yes. Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. T7938 passes and becomes ordinance number 2026-20. T7939, agreement with Safe Built Ohio for chief building official backup inspection services and backup commercial plan review services as amended. Caroline, please read by title.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Safe Built Ohio LLC to serve as the chief building official and provide primary and backup inspection and commercial plan review services for the city of Streetsboro and declaring an emergency in order to maintain continuity of service in the building department.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt in a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Glenn.
Yes.
Mr. Lampa.
Yes.
And Ms. Wagner.
Yes.
Mr. Ring.
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak.
Yes.
Mr. Hannon.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes. T7939 passes and becomes ordinance number 2026-21. T7940, agreement with Sixmo Architecture for commercial plan review and backup chief building official. Caroline, please read by title.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Sixmo Architecture to serve as the commercial plan reviewer and backup chief building official for the city of Streetsboro and declaring an emergency in order to maintain continuity of service in the building department.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt in a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Glenn.
Yes.
Mr. Lampa.
Yes.
Mr. Ring.
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak.
Yes.
Mr. Hannon.
Yes.
Ms. Wagner.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes. T7940 passes and becomes ordinance number 2026-22. Item 7, first reading. There is none. 8, second reading. T7932, repeal and replace Chapter 1193, erosion and sediment control.
This is an ordinance repealing and replacing Chapter 1193 of the codified ordinances of the city of Streetsboro relating to erosion and sediment control.
Okay, and T7933, repeal and replace Chapter 1195, comprehensive stormwater management. Caroline, please read by title.
An ordinance repealing and replacing Chapter 1195 of the codified ordinances of the city of Streetsboro relating to comprehensive stormwater management.
All right, thank you. Item 9, third reading. There is none. Item 10, the moment we've been waiting for, the mayor's report.
Thank you.
The first mayor's report in the new city hall.
First and foremost, I want to thank everybody. When we finally got our new house, you know, the city got a new house, and it's a great place for, you know, for our citizens. The Gateway Green and the rest of the park is going to be the same way, and I think you put it the right way. It's the nucleus. I mean, it's going to be a center part of the city. We want to keep on making it better. Everybody played a part. There were a few that really went over the top. Missy and Matt Kaufman laying 17 miles of AI stuff through here. It was amazing when they told us that they, you know, how many miles of cable that were in here. You know, Missy went over the top with getting the move done, making sure that things were taken care of. Worked extensively with the architect and with the construction people to make sure things are done, and it's still going on. Everybody played a part, but there were some that really put it all out. And, you know, of course, thanks to you guys. You guys shared the vision and let us get to where we could be. And, you know, I think Ted put it right. I mean, there was a time here when people in here couldn't agree on anything. It was just one battle after another. It is nice. I know we have our differences sometime, but we can always come to a resolution on it. And I think that we've done a pretty darn good job doing what we need to do. So thank you guys. Thanks to all the directors. And, you know, thanks to the residents for having faith in us. You know, we, you know, Brian Kropp had mentioned the social media. And, you know, it's something that it is really, truly one of our only ways to get to people. We don't have a local newspaper anymore. And if we don't keep the people informed, you know, things get behind. And, you know, we found the more information that we can put out there for these folks, the better off we are. And like we said, March and April, it's going to be a mess. And I'm looking forward to it. that's the last big project for a few years. So get that under the rug and get that under the carpet, and we're in good shape. But thank you again to you guys. Thank you to the directors, and thank you to the residents of the city of Streetsboro who had faith in us. All I got.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 11, President of Council comments. I'd like to thank everyone in the audience that came to let us know and provide feedback. It's always good to hear the good and versus the bad, which happens to come around a little bit more. So thank you for coming here and letting us know how you feel and providing feedback. Echo the mayor's comments. I mean, it still doesn't seem real to be here. I mean, in 15, 20 years, we're going to be looking back, and we're the first group to be in this new building. And how often do we get an opportunity? How often does any city get an opportunity to have a new city hall? I mean, it doesn't happen. So, I mean, this is history, and it's something we should all be proud of. So thank you, everyone, for your hard work. Everyone in here did a great job. It's still something that doesn't seem to be sinking in yet with me, but I'm sure it will at some point. And when we bring our children here, this is something that they're going to see, and it's a legacy that hopefully they can share with everyone around them. So that's all I have besides the service department. Heck of a job. I saw pickup trucks. I saw everything they had out there. They had to have had like 35 vehicles or something out there with plows, man. They were everywhere. Every street was covered. I think 3 of them were down my road at one time. I was like, oh my gosh. So thanks, Mr. Miller, for handling that and heading that team up. That's all I have. Ms. Glenn?
To kind of echo some of your comments, it's so very exciting to be in this new building finally after literally years and years of, like Ted said, infighting, couldn't agree on anything, that was in the newspaper. Even as a resident, it was really just kind of embarrassing to see such friction between the mayor and, again, didn't matter which mayor, didn't matter who was on city council, it was constant. And I've been here since 1991, and it's basically been almost the entire time until just recently. So it's great to be a part of this. Just like the mayor said, sometimes we disagree, but in the end, we usually just come around and make it work. So I also want to say thank you to Ted and to Brian for coming and giving us your feedback. It's always appreciated. I really do like to hear from the residents and what they're thinking. So thank you for being here. I did see cars here late Saturday night moving in, and so I know the directors, and I don't know who all was here, but I know people were here late Saturday night getting it all situated. So appreciate everyone's help. Missy, sounds like you were very busy as well, and Matt, I know you've been busy trying to get everything all coordinated with all the technology and stuff, so much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Glenn. Mr. Lampa?
Thank you, Mr. Lombardo. Pretty much the same thing. I do want to throw a shout out to Missy and Shauna for the open house. I thought it was very successful. It was our pleasure helping you guys set up and having fun that day and having a drone come flying down my head down that hallway. I am somewhat sad by the newspaper not being here for the first council meeting. Just want to throw that out there. So Record Courier or Portager. Billy, nice job on the roads. I think you went down my street with your pickup plow. I was going to wave to you, but you went by so fast. Nice job on the roads. I didn't have to drive into work this morning, but I did go out this afternoon, and they were great. And just like everybody else said, it's nice to hear the comments in the audience. Brian, Ted, nice job, and I'm glad to be here.
Thank you, Mr. Lampa. Mr. Mishniak, I gave some of my time to you.
Thank you, sir. I just echo everybody else's comments on the opening of the new building. I won't belabor it, but it's a really exciting time. And also, obviously, service department guys are working hard, earning that white gold, as they call it, getting all that OT. But really, when I got out there, even today, I was like, wow, 43 looks great, 303 looks great. The side roads were very passable pretty quickly after the storm. I did see, I was like, ooh, expecting a little more complaints. The south side of Frost just got wiped out by a tidal wave of snow. About every third mailbox was about 20 degrees off. all the doors were open, the metal ones were dented. I'm like, we're gonna get a wave of complaints, but I don't know if your office got any, but the big Home Depot mailboxes and Lowe's mailboxes seem to survive it. And only one box on that entire run has a shield built in. But there's nothing we could do. I sent you guys a text like, hey, it's just how it is. There was so much snow that it was throwing out a tidal wave of stuff. It wasn't even that the plow hit anything. It was that the snow was heavy and driving down the road, pushing it. So a good job to service, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Mishnek. Mr. Hannon.
Thank you, Mr. Lombardo. I won't reiterate a bunch of what everyone else has said, but super exciting opportunity to be, on this first group that gets to share this moment. I was I joined City Council towards the tail end of some of that, arguing back and forth, and into my first term, there was a lot of long City Council meeting. Midnight, and I felt like we just went back and forth, could not agree on anything. So it does. I think Mr. Lombardo made a good point. It doesn't feel real being in here. So it's really cool to get to experience this. I think what Mr. Ted Hurd said was great. So thank you for that. I think that's you summed it up very well, and I appreciate those comments. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hannon. Mr. Ring.
Thank you, Mr. Lombardo. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. It's a nice building. I like it. Proud to be here. Aside from that, Billy, keep on it. Doing good. It's 800 ton of snow or salt. That's only about what, 1.5 events? Okay. Does that include the Carter lumber stock? So we've got 1,500. Is that, okay, all right. That makes me feel better. Yeah. Thank you. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Ms. Wagner.
And I'll end with the exact same thing for everything. It's a beautiful building. It's great to grow up here and see the change from where I started to where it is today, all of the positive. And it's a huge example of what we can get when we all work together and we don't fight and argue about it. Yeah, sure, taking in other people's views or whatever is great because some might have a better way to do it or a better route to get to where we are, but we're all trying to get to the exact same place, and that is making Streetsboro a better place for everyone who comes to visit, comes to live, or will live here eventually in the future. So thank you to everybody who's had a big part in it.
Thank you, Ms. Wagner. Caroline, do you have anything to add?
I don't.
Okay, thank you. 13 announcements. There will be a safety council chambers. Motion to adjourn in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we're adjourned.
Tony, don't go anywhere. I need your autograph.
I'm not going anywhere.
All right.
Hey guys, don't go anywhere.